You know what I'm saying? All right. Well, what's up, people? How y'all doing? Salutations and greetings. Hope all is well. All is well. All those concerned. Yeah. But so yeah, I told y'all I'll be back again. Told y'all I'll be pulling up. Uh, and we got a little some more videos. I still got it lined up from the last stream. I just ain't get to it because I had to take me a little nap, recharge, refuel, and get back to the grind. You feel me? Okay. So today we have a video by another one by Hello Yasin Extras, and it's called KSI and Andrew Tate beef only gets worse. First of all, when were they beefing? When did it? This is news to me. I have never. This is the first time I ever heard of them two beefing, and I used to like, not so much now, but I used to like follow what they had going on a lot. But I've yet to hear this. This is crazy. Let's go.
The rise of influencer boxing, which I would have to say it kicked off with Jake Paul and that English guy whose name Joe Weller. Yeah, I actually just remembered his name. And then really took it to the next level with Logan Paul and KSI series. Misfits Boxing emerged as this organization in the UK that was putting on a lot of fights. And since then, their only competitor or aspiring competitor has become Aiden Ross's Brand Risk Boxing. Aiden Ross, he's tried to develop his own talent coming from his community and then enlisting other people's communities for the last event. But one thing that many people did not see coming was a potential KSI and Andrew Tate fight, who Andrew Tate has called out both Jake Paul, Logan, and KSI, if I'm not mistaken. But this announcement from Misfits, who have taken one of Aiden Ross's boxers in Scam Likely, who was Aiden Ross's best boxer, have made a crazy announcement.
So yeah, I'm familiar with the Jake Paul, Logan Paul. I'm familiar with that, but I'm not familiar with like Tate and what's his name? KSI. So, you know, I don't understand that.
Announcement, and I'm gonna play you guys that clip right now. We'll see how much of it we can play. They should allow us to play this trailer, and then we're gonna get into it because this is a really insane development. So here, Mams Taylor, who's also the manager for KSI, announces that the CEO for Misfits is going to be Andrew Tate. Now, Andrew Tate has a huge.
So how many? So the only one I'm really familiar with is Brand Risk, but I'm sure like that's not the. I know that's not the end all be all. These names, certain names sound familiar, like Misfits and the other ones he mentioned, but I'm most familiar with Brand Risk because of Aiden Ross.
Kickboxing. I think he was in ISKA, which is like sport karate, and then he like went into kickboxing later. Now this is traditional boxing, regular boxing with just hands in Misfits, but he was leaked to fight this guy Chase Demore, who I wasn't really too familiar with before this announcement, but he's popular in the UK and Europe it seems. So he's set to fight this guy Chase Demore. It was leaked a while ago, but the CEO thing was not leaked. And I didn't think the CEO thing was real. I thought it was just some bait, but he explained why he got into this and why he took that role from KSI. And I'm going to play you guys that clip right now.
Who's Misfits Boxing?
Well, KSI tweeted something that annoyed me about 3 years ago. So, long story short, I took his company from him. And considering that I'm the largest name on the planet, if I'm going to fight...
What? I mean, I guess I know how he would have did it, but sheesh, that man playing chess, not checkers.
On an organization, why not fight on an organization I own a percentage of? It makes a lot of business sense. I also intend on doing my very best to make sure Misfits continues to disrupt the entire boxing space. I think there's a lot of fantastic names on Misfits. There's a lot of people who are already doing fantastically well, and they can do even better. I think we can become even bigger as an org. My intention is to make the org a lot bigger than it is and make sure everybody gets paid even more money. So why not? I mean, I'm approaching this as a businessman. I'm approaching this as a fighter. I see the potential and the future of this.
Jeez,
I think that, you know, celebrities fighting or influencers fighting just seems to keep growing. So
that is true.
Misfits have already got a fantastic.
That is true.
Fantastic platform. They're already in a.
This video at the
great place, and I think with my help we can take it to the next level.
There we go.
Do you still have beef with KSI, or is that settled now?
There's no genuine beef. There's no genuine beef. You know, I've never met the guy. I hope he's okay. He annoyed me on Twitter, so I had to get involved in his company. That's just how it goes. That's how professionals act. You know, it's how professionals act. You piss off a banker, before you know it, he owns your street. It's just how it works.
Yeah, best not.
Chase Demore would also reply, who is Andrew Tate's opponent, with the following clip that I'm gonna play you guys right now.
Uh-oh.
You got the biggest thing yet. You ready?
Is it locked in?
You already know.
Easy work, let's do it.
This happened last night at Misfit 6. It was Chase Demore versus Stevie Knight. Knockdown, and then this happened.
His career 0-4 now runs an impressive 5-fight winning streak and holds the Misfit boxing.
Hit him several times when he's down. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second.
Did he lose that bet?
We can't have this. We cannot have this. Hey, Chase Demore, though, man. That is Demore splits the lip open of his opponent and reclaims his Misfits heavyweight title.
Oh, apparently Andrew Tate is boxing. And apparently he's boxing Chase First of all, if you guys don't know Chase Demore.
Boxing debut against Josh Bruckner, he wasn't exactly ready. Clear that he hadn't really done much sparring before, and he wasn't up.
So, the biggest fight of your life, Andrew Tate, December 20th. Goat versus the Cobra. You ready?
Let's go get him.
It takes a villain to beat a villain.
And then he says, first, nobody orders me to do anything. Secondly, mandatory or not, you're absolutely right. Everyone does have a plan until they get punched in the face. The thing is, my plan is to get punched in the face. Then I'm going to beat the F out of you. What happens when you send a Cobra to a goat? This Chase Demore guy is apparently like a giant, too. I think he's quite big. I don't know if he's like 6'4", 6'5". I know Andrew's like maybe 6'2", 6'3", because his younger brother Tristan significantly larger than him. And then KSI replies to this whole situation. Now the KSI thing is tough because he pretty much founded this organization or helped found it and take it to the next level, but they relied on him too much, and a lot of people, even the fans of KSI, were like, yo, Misfits is just whether KSI is boxing or not. And
so I guess Misfits is to the UK as to brand risk is to the US. That's what I'm gathering here.
KSI quote tweets this with LOL, and he says, this year people are trying to test me for real. What the actual F is going on? This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Let's make Andrew Tate the CEO of Misfits? Are you effing serious? Legit gosh. CBA. I think that's can't be out. So let me know, my UK mans. And I know we got a couple of you guys here. He says, F Mams. Mams Taylor is the guy that made the announcement in the beginning of the clip of the Misfits trailer.
Hey, you gotta... So, you gotta think, right? If I founded a company and somebody you got smoked with, like you like help run the day-to-day, and somebody you had smoked with buys a large percentage of the company, and so now, like, that is insane, bro. I would be
And
livid.
he says, bro
I
has
would
been
be
focused on
pissed.
Misfits rather than managing me, LOL. And you decide to do this ish. I personally think this is all promo. I think because Tate even says combat executive officer instead of CEO. I think this.
That I forgot about that. This could all be, you know what I'm saying, an attention grabber, which in this case is definitely working.
This is promo in a lead up to a KSI Andrew Tate fight. I think it makes sense to drum up the hype and get a lot of people's attention on Misfits with this Chase Demore guy, because the star power and name that Tate has is not what Chase Demore. It's not even a fraction of, or Chase Demore is not even a fraction of the name and pull that Tate has. And even Aiden Ross reacted to this event and gave them credit, being that they're competitors to him. And I'm going to play you guys that clip of Aiden Ross reacting to it right now.
I don't think KSI got fired. But I do want to say, guys, Misfits, what the f? That's a comeback. And anyone that is genuinely not saying that's a comeback is hating. Bro, the fact that Andrew Tate is boxing is insane. I don't care what anybody says, and that's just a W for them, bro. W Misfits, bro. That's awesome. I don't care, bro. That is insane. When I saw that, like, oh my God, who's not going to want to watch Andrew Tate box? Like, what? So you got to just give flowers and you know, give appreciation where it's due, bro. That's awesome. I'm honestly, like, blown away, honestly. I don't know how that deal was looked like or any of that, bro, but I ain't gonna lie, bro. They did it. W Misfits, I ain't gonna lie, bro.
I think this is something that people have to put respect on. Like, despite whether or not people like Andrew Tate or not, somebody that's up the amount of money that he is, this is only a risk. To take that on means that this person is consistently challenging themselves and not resting on their laurels, which they could do. And hopefully Aiden Ross takes a page out of this guy's book. If this guy's like, what, 15 years older or 13, 14 years older than Aiden, and he's got, I don't know if he's got more money than Aiden. Regardless, they've all got more money than they know what to do with. And he's still not only putting himself in the ring, but taking on new business ventures and constantly active and still fit, which is something that Aiden Ross needs to get a handle of. Then Aiden Ross does not have any excuse. And also had to deal with legal issues as well, that arrests and moving different countries and all that. Aiden Ross needs to get back in his bag. And we will address KSI if this is at all real. KSI's got, problem is I can relate to KSI. That's the thing. Not in terms of his personality, but the urge to do so many different things, and not just the urge to do it, but putting down one thing to pick up another and then coming back to the main thing after a while and then trying something else. Because KSI's done a lot, man. KSI's done boxing. KSI has done, and he beat Logan Paul, which I don't really think he won the first fight. The second fight, yeah. He's also gotten progressively worse at boxing, surprisingly enough, as the years went by. But the guy did the influencer boxing thing, right? He already did the YouTuber thing. Now he did the Sidemen thing, which is gigantic in the UK and Europe, even though people do not really care about them in the US. Now, I want to know, are they...
The Sidemen, I guess you could say, for those of y'all who don't know, because I'm not too familiar with them as well, but from what I gather and research, think of the Sidemen maybe like a cross between AMP and FaZe, but on the UK side.
Popping in Australia. Like, is Sidemen and KSI like, KSI is popular as a figure in the US, but I mean, if we're talking like AMP, if we're talking FaZe, if we're talking, there are so many other people that have stronger pull here. The music thing, right? Yeah. KSI was doing the music thing as well, which he did at a high level, quote. Also, the Sidemen charity match and him back focusing on YouTube too. There's just too many. I think he's in a relationship. Too many.
I didn't know he did music. I thought he was just a, you know what I'm saying, YouTuber influencer type of dude.
Things that he's doing at once, it causes people that are just relying on Misfits or operating Misfits to think we've got to figure out a solution for this to run without relying on KSI, or the company's just going to die. It's not going to survive in the way that it relies on one.
Point in case, that is true. They have to find a way. Not saying that running it with him is a bad thing, but if it's his business, if he have found, he's one of the founders, then he should be able to step away and the business should be ran like he was still there, like not miss a beat.
One person. Just like, for example, like brand risk, right now, it is completely reliant on Aiden Ross. And hopefully Aiden Ross gets motivated to make some ish shake because he's got pull that.
But it's like, he is the face of brand risk, though. So that, I'm not too familiar with the Misfits. But Aiden Ross is definitely the face of brand risk.
Andrew Tate does not. In the terms of everyone wants to like Aiden Ross, they just are, I guess, hesitant based on what Aiden Ross says and what his friends say and how much of a brand risk it could be to them. Pun intended with that being his promotional name or the name of his promotion. So with KSI, I think, listen, man, like, there's too much to manage with you. You got music. You've got, even though he had one of the biggest meme songs, can we say that the KSI song with Trippie Redd do we got that beating out Soul Train?
He got a song with Trippie Redd. Where have I been?
I think that might have to beat out Soul Train, right? Like, KSI's music is terrible, garbage. He's had commercial success in most things, I think, because he's such a great entertainer and he is likable. But my God, his music is buns. Like, sheesh. I mean, the only person that makes worse music than KSI is for sure Rice Gum. Rice Gum was one of the worst rappers of all time. I feel like anybody that's like, nah, bro, Rice Gum was hard, you had to be between the ages of 9 and 13. There's no way you could remember Rice Gum as being anything but garbaggio at rapping. No. If you had a definition of a rapper that had zero just flow, melody, swag, aura, whatever, it would be Rice Gum on the beat. Like, that guy had bars written for him that were good bars, and just listening to him is like, what the hell is this? Turn this garbage off. So I am actually looking forward to this. I think this is we've gotten to the point in quote unquote influencer boxing where there's levels to it. I think people were tired of, just completely inexperienced people like we're seeing with Aiden Ross's brand risk. In the beginning, it was like, okay, do you guys have some real beef? If you guys got real beef, that's entertaining because you're seeing it pan out. But completely unskilled and untrained people, that's out the way. So it's kind of like we've gotten to a point where there needs to be a level of hybrid for it to be sustainable in terms of, this person is a boxer, but he's going to do a kickboxing match with somebody else. So he's in a handicap a little bit. Or this, like, Jake Paul is really trained by now, and he's just fighting people smaller than him. So there's always got to be an element of, can this person win? Or really, can this person lose who they're fighting? But here you've got people that are actually training, but it's almost like they're just turning into inferior boxers. Like, for example, who's a guy that, like Slim, right? The guy, Slimification, he's a boxer now, but it's almost like he's just a full-time boxer. So they're pro boxers, and they stop doing what got them popular in the first place, which is the YouTube stuff and all of that. And they just are not as good as professional boxers. So it's like you're not streaming, doing content anymore, and you're boxing full-time, but you're not good as a full-time boxer, but you are really good in the influencer world. So how does that add up? I think that's a funny conclusion that we've come to at this point. But yeah, I think I'm just rambling about the influencer boxing thing in general right now. But I do think this is great. I think as a promoter, as the face of a company, like an Andrew Tate could be like a Vince McMahon of the WWE. Like, just straight entertainment.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. I would say this. If those two can hash it out and come together, Misfits could be one of the biggest things in the world if they put Andrew Tate as the front man, as the... would I say face? Like, yeah, because, yeah.
Entertainment level in the fight game as well. So I am looking forward to how he runs it, if it's even real. I don't think for them to just outright, I think, because he never said he's a chief executive officer. He said combat executive officer. So I am willing to bet that there is potential that they just have him as the face. But this is the thing too. I think they had to offer him at least part ownership of the organization. Otherwise it wouldn't make sense. They don't have the money to pay him for it to be worth it to just hop in the ring with a Chase Demore of all people. And even when, like, for example, when Tate got banned off of YouTube and all of that, he got ownership of Rumble when he first moved to Rumble when he was at his peak. So
I forgot about that. I forgot that he got part ownership.
Hopped on Rumble and got ownership there's no way that he's hopping on Misfits and doesn't at least have ownership, even though he.
But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for this video. Like I said, he should, if they could figure that situation out, they got something on their hands for sure. But make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. And follow. Don't forget that. Don't forget to follow. Know what I'm saying? But yeah. That's that.